Hi, everyone.
Welcome back to the Last Night was literally a horror movie.
It's
Today,
Halloween, guys.
Yeah, it's Halloween. As we're recording this, we're dressed up. I'm Miss Pearl from the movie Pearl.
And I am Alice from Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Rachel sent it, saw my story, so I feel a little bit famous right now.
Yeah, I don't.
We both look incredible. Maybe I'll put a picture if Celeste lets me. We'll see. On this episode, we're going to be talking about...
1984.
Of what?
AHS, not
American Horror Story.
Yeah, not the book.
Not the year, not the book.
Yeah.
None of the above.
No, because this is literally 1984 what we're doing.
I don't know what that means.
I don't actually know what that means either. I've just heard people say it, so I'm
1984?
Yeah, it's like I think a dictatorship or something, or communism.
No, that's a different year. 1776. Or is that when the...
That's the Constitution.
Oh. American Horror Story is an anthology series. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Anthology series. And every season is about a new topic. So 1984 is the 9th season and our personal favorite out of all of them. And we're going to explain why.
Yeah, so 1984 is the 9th season of AHS. It premiered in September of 2019. A brief summary, it follows a group of camp counselors as they try to escape a duo of serial killers hunting them. All but 3 of them are killed. They come back as ghosts and are cursed to spend eternity at the camp. Years later, the survivors and killers are all drawn back to the camp to settle their unfinished business from years before.
So what makes you think that this is the best season?
I don't know if it's the best season because I haven't seen every one of them, but I think it's very dense in how it tells its story, and it's very entertaining to me. A very close competitor to iPad Babies for the worst attention span.
What do you mean by that?
I'm TikTok brained. I'm TikTok pilled.
You are very TikTok pilled, and I can't stand it.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't not be doing multiple things at once. Like, I have 9 cores on my CPU, and I have to be multi-threading.
Okay, so let's name the seasons that we've both seen. I think we've seen all the same ones. We've
both seen Murder House. Mm-hmm. We've both seen Asylum.
We've both seen Coven, Hotel. What else?
We've seen Red Tide. We've seen 84, and I think that's it. We
started the new season. We might make a video about it, depending on how it goes, but so far, not big fans. We are not big fans. It's pretty boring so far. I thought it was going to be a lot more interesting and a little bit crazy because of the trailer. But
yeah, the trailer and the cover.
Every single trailer that they've ever done has been pretty misleading, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Ryan needs to stop. So, despite our previous summary being incredible, there is a lot more that happens in the season, and I think you need that context to understand everything that we're talking about. So, right now, we're going to have 5 minutes to recount everything that happened in the season, and we're going to see if we can do it.
Yeah, just in case you guys haven't seen it in a while or anything, we're just going to recap it for you.
The 5-minute timer starts now.
Okay, first we are introduced to all of the characters. Brooke is
she's getting killed by Richard Ramirez.
We'll cover that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about Richard Ramirez a lot later.
And Ryan Murphy.
Yeah. Miss Billy Lord is an aerobics instructor, and everyone else in her friend group is hanging out with her at the aerobics studio.
Brooke is also taking the aerobics class.
Yeah, and they all decide to go be camp counselors for the summer, and we learn later that they're all trying to escape something or accomplish something.
They talk about just like wanting to be out of town because of all the murders and stuff like that.
Yeah, but later they reveal their true intentions. So they go to the camp, and we meet Margaret Booth. Miss Margaret Booth is the camp leader.
She's a Christian girl who read her Bible.
Yeah, she do read her Bible.
There's also Miss Candy. What's her name?
Miss Candy, Nurse Rita. And yeah, so the episode goes on, and eventually they all get to the camp, and then Mr. Jingles, the serial killer who was there years before, who almost killed Margaret Booth.
Wait. With Margaret Booth, we first get a recap of what happened back in, I don't know,
70s or something.
No, it was before the 70s.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, she shows us a little backstory where they are getting murdered, and she's there. And then Mr. Jingles takes her ear.
And she's the only survivor, and she testifies, gets Mr. Jingles locked up, and Mr. Jingles comes back and he's trying to kill her because she locked her up for good. And then Richard Ramirez also comes there to kill Brooke, which he failed at killing before because Brooke is a baddie. She's a girl boss queen.
Baddie alert.
Once the characters find out that the killers are there, they start fearing for their lives. They're so scared. And in this fear, some people start to die, and some people, get away. Some people get injured.
Do you remember?
I do not remember.
I don't remember. Ray
got killed
they
first.
They didn't die really quickly, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't. They die
die
quickly
towards the end.
Yeah,
there's a lot of filler, I guess.
All the side characters die really quickly. I think Ray is the first one in the main group to get killed.
There's also a ghost.
Decapitated.
There's a ghost there.
Yeah, there's a ghost there who they hit on the way in. He gets decapitated, and then the Richard and the other guy start fighting.
Who? Mr. Jingles?
Yeah, Richard and Mr. Jingles start fighting because Richard wants to kill Mr. Jingles so that he can be a better killer or something. Because Richard hail Satan apparently, and then
Satan.
But then it's revealed in that bit that Miss Candy, Nurse Rita, is actually not Nurse Rita. She released Mr. Jingles onto the camp so that she's
a psychology girl. She stole the identity of a girl that she met at the gas station and then went to the camp as a nurse.
Yeah, and she wanted to study serial killers to better understand her dad, who was a serial killer.
Her dad. Then we get a flashback to the 70s where her hair is amazing and she looks incredible as ever, and her makeup is beautiful and she just looks incredible. And then she tells us about how her dad was a killer and she caught him killing.
Yeah, and then Margaret Booth reveals that she actually killed everyone in the 70s and framed Mr. Jingles for it. And then Mr. Jingles has a midlife crisis and stops killing people. And then, but that's only after he and Richard kill everyone there except for Brooke and Montana, Miss Billy Lord. And then Brooke kills Miss Billy Lord because Miss Billy Lord wants to kill Brooke because she thinks that Brooke killed her stepbro or something.
They also have beef. Wait, we forgot the wedding. We have to talk about the wedding.
No.
Really quick.
No.
There's a wedding. There's a wedding and Brooke is getting married and then
and then Brooke's husband's best man is Billy Lord's brother, and then Brooke's husband kills that person because she thinks that Brooke cheated on him. So yeah, Billy Lord and Brooke have beef, and then Brooke kills Billy Lord, and then Margaret Booth frames Brooke for everything that happened that night. Brooke goes to jail. All the ghosts are there. Margaret Booth becomes a billionaire, and then years later,
Candy gets Miss Brooke out of jail.
Yeah, Candy gets Miss Brooke out of the death sentence
by pretending that she's killing her with lethal injection, and then she fakes it. She puts water in her or something, and then she steals her and gets her out.
Yeah, and then Miss Margaret Booth runs a music festival at the camp years later, and then Richard Ramirez comes back to try and kill. I think he's trying to kill. Richard Ramirez kills Mr. Jingles' wife, and then Richard goes back there to kill everyone else or something, to see Billy Idol, and then Mr. Jingles comes back there to kill Richard Ramirez, and then all the ghosts are there, and they are trying to kill Margaret. And then I think everyone dies, and Richard is stuck there forever. That's time.
Wow, what a perfect recap. We got it. Perfect time.
Yeah, we left nothing out.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
But let us know if we forgot anything. So this season is kind of about, it's basically your typical slasher kind of thing, would you say?
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
It's a slasher summer camp movie, which has definitely been done before. I'll talk more about that later. But it's very campy and it has a lot of fun characters.
So after this season came out, I really enjoyed it, but I was surprised to find that there was a decent amount of people who did not like this season.
And what was their reasoning? Do you know?
Well, one of the big reasons was because series mainstays Evan Peters and Sarah Paulson were not in this season. And, one of those is a good reason.
I saw Sarah Paulson talking about how people used to tweet her and be mad that, that she wasn't in certain seasons or she was different characters or whatever, which is so funny to me. It's an anthology series. Yeah, and not everyone can be in every season.
Yeah, not everyone can be there all the time.
Who would they have played?
Exactly.
I mean, Sarah could have slayed a little bit.
Sarah could have slayed at anything, obviously. It's Sarah Paulson. But Evan Peters, what would he play?
And I'm so glad they included the people they did. Like the fact that they added Matthew Morrison.
I know.
And freaking, what's her name? Candy. Angelica Ross.
Angelica Ross, yes.
It would be nothing without the gorgeous Angelica Ross. Congratulations to her. She's now on Broadway.
She is now on Broadway. I forgot who she's playing, but
she is Roxy Hart in whatever that musical is called. Comment below.
Yeah, as you can see, we're true Broadway fans. So I have a list of quick little notes that I want to say about the season that I think are pretty funny little tidbits. So my first note right here is we need more men dressing like sluts.
Oh my God, yes, I remember we talked about this.
This season has slutty men.
Chet and Xavier are everything.
They are everything, and men will never dress like that anymore.
I'm going to say more about Ray, but I just want to mention, I was so annoyed. He just felt like such a side character when he was supposed to be like a part of the main group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't really doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't feel in any way towards him. And I loved all the other characters, even the smaller ones.
Yeah, Chet and Xavier were definitely the heights of the male cast this season, and they tried their best to make Matthew Morrison another height of this season.
But okay, come on, he slayed. Like
he slayed a little.
That's a role that he should be playing because he's unlikable in real life too.
Yeah, but I can't get the image of him in Glee out of my head every time I see it.
His little break dances, it's unacceptable, and I agree.
I can't stop thinking about him twerking and throwing it back on teenagers.
Yes, villainize Matthew Morrison, and I'm totally okay with that. But you have to admit his character is perfect for him in this season.
It is,
and
pretty
it's
good
so
for him.
funny that he's in it in the first place and dressed like that.
Another note that I had, speaking of Matthew Morrison, was about the absolute schlanging packer they put in his shorts this season.
It's a little bit much.
It's too much.
I have to admit.
One of the big jokes about his character is that he has an elephant trunk. He's swinging.
He is swinging.
And, they were not scared to, they showed and didn't tell when they first intrigued him. They certainly did.
Miss Billy is quite obsessed.
Miss Billy is quite obsessed. She got really obsessed in the first episode.
And their love carries on. We did not mention that in the recap.
Yeah, it wasn't that important.
Yeah, we would rather forget about it, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I would rather forget about, seeing Matthew Morrison. I think one of the peaks of that running bit throughout the whole show was the line, "That's no cock. That's an act of God."
Yeah, that's definitely, oh my God. Can I tell you another great line from the series?
What's another great line from the series?
I was a prostitute and you were a serial killer. I also want to bring up, we're obsessed with the blood PNGs that they have in this season.
Oh yeah,
some of the blood is just
there's a lot of blood rigs, and I really applaud the special effects team for how much work they had to do. But then there are other times when it's just like, oh, put blood on the camera, it's fine.
Yeah, I just love how like cheap and campy everything is, and like everything.
Well, I mean, it's not cheap. It definitely was very expensive to make so much blood spurt out of so many different orifices. But then there are some where it's like, we've spurted too much blood. Blood.png.
This is also our favorite intro for any of the seasons, like the little intro songs.
Yes. Oh my God. It was so good. And I think it's because it just fits with the aesthetic of the season so much, and it's so creative. And despite it looking like a high schooler made it in their free time, like it fits so well.
It does. It's perfect.
It is. Back onto the topic of slutty men real quick. There is a very slutty thing that Xavier did throughout most of the season. He would wear tank tops and put his arms up in the air and just show off his pit muscles.
Cropped. They were already cropped.
They were cropped. And I think, honestly, that's kind of attractive.
It is. He was gorgeous in the season.
He was gorgeous.
Montana and Chet and Xavier slayed the hardest by far.
Yes. And Angelica Ross.
Not even close.
No,
I mean, I loved her. I thought in the nurse era she wasn't as slaying, but when she went back to the 70s and when she started hanging out with Brooke after, that was a mega slay. That was one of the craziest, most beautiful things I've ever seen.
So I want to talk a bit about the writing now. The first little bit I have about the writing is the exposition in the first couple episodes is just, they needed to get it in there. telling ghost stories around a campfire is just such an exposition boat, and they used it to its fullest. I think they had like a 10-minute scene of telling ghost stories at the campfire, but it was just exposition for the rest of the series. And honestly, great decision. I was bored. As you might have noticed earlier in our unhinged 5-minute recap, about halfway through the season, it's revealed that everyone dies, and then there's a time skip into the future. And
no, Brooke doesn't die because she's in
most
jail.
people die.
Margaret Booth.
Yeah, no, Margaret Booth, Book, and
Matthew Morrison.
Oh yeah, Matthew Morrison doesn't die. I always forget about that. But yeah, there's a time skip to later in years, and Miss Margaret Booth is now a millionaire, and she has a line where she's planning out the festival at Camp Redwood, and she has this line that says, "Murder has always sold," and I thought that was pretty good joke, Ryan, because it's like, you know, it seems like a bit of a commentary on how people receive this stuff, but at the same time, you know, it's very interesting to juxtapose this "murder has always sold" with his inclusion of real-life serial killer Richard Ramirez.
And also, why is like a hot actor playing Richard Ramirez? And why? Tell me one reason why you had to give him the name Richard Ramirez. He doesn't even look like him. He has some fictional details made up about him. Why not just make your own serial killer and like base it off of him and don't say anything about it? Like, I just don't understand that. There was another thing in Dahmer, not to bring up a different show, but I mean, it's also Ryan Murphy universe, where the parents were trying to write a book about their experience with the Jeffrey Dahmer case, like Jeffrey Dahmer's parents, and they had to give the money to like the families that got killed. Ryan has never done anything like that for any of his shows. Like, he doesn't really care about the victims, even though he pretends that he does, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's really weird seeing that lack of care put on screen, because I think, like, you know, showing fake serial killers kill fake people, you know, whatever. You're depicting fake events, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. But in this series, it shows Richard Ramirez, a real serial killer, murdering people, like real people. And it does that with such flippancy that it almost feels weird when you think of that.
It's not even his actual victims. It's literally him killing people that he never killed, having a relationship, literally having sex with one of the characters that he made up for the show. Like, what is the purpose of that? Please explain it to me.
It elevates Richard Ramirez to a status that is, you know, so much more than any serial killer deserves. Like, he almost achieves this demigod-like status through his, you know,
literally
Satan.
Does. He has supernatural powers.
Yeah, he has superpowers in the show.
Like, please just, it doesn't even make sense that it's Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
So why would you do that?
And it's especially absurd considering, like, you could just make this a fake person. Like, that's exactly what they did with Mr. Jingles. Mr. Jingles is an entirely made-up character, and, you know, despite how absurd I think it is that you try to give a serial killer a redemption arc, like, you know, at least it's a fake character.
Well, he wasn't even a serial killer.
Well, he did kill a lot of people, even though all the people at Camp Redwood in 84.
That was literally Margaret Booth.
No, Margaret Booth killed them originally.
Yeah.
And then framed him, and then he thought he killed everyone, so then he went back and killed the group, like Brooke's group.
Oh, I don't really care. They deserved it.
Xavier deserved it.
No, I'm
Xavier, Mr. Cunt, deserved it.
I'm joking. I love Chet. He's my favorite. Yeah. Yeah, also, he has, like, just a weird past with doing this. Like, kind of romanticizing serial killers. He did it in season 1 with Murder House.
He did it in Hotel again.
Oh my God, I forgot about Hotel. Hotel has, like, a full, like, dinner party of serial killers. Like, what on earth was the purpose of that?
There is none. I feel like he
likes to include, like, real people, which is sometimes okay. I don't know. But a lot of the time it's them either getting murdered. He did the Black Dahlia case in season 1, and he also had Evan Peters, which wasn't really a true serial killer, but people were, like, romanticizing him, obviously. You still see that to this day. There was the Elizabeth Holmes. I don't know if that's her name. The Black Dahlia. Yeah, he showed her getting killed. It's just like, why not just make something up original? And then he had the doctor that, like, supposedly killed her or whatever too. Like, what are you on?
Yeah, I think it's just like, it's too much to include real people, because, like, it has real impact on, you know, the victims of these cases. Like with the Dahmer series recently, like the families weren't notified of that this was happening, and now it's just like it's bringing up all of this stuff, and so it's just like it feels so weird being even more flippant with these real serial killers in a show like American Horror Story, where like, you know, I don't know like the victims of Richard Ramirez and like how they reacted to it, but like,
how do you feel about stuff like Marie Laveau in season 3 Coven? I don't know how to feel about it, because I feel like I would have never known who she was and if she was real until I watched the show. Like I hadn't heard of her in history or anything like that, and I just don't know how to feel about it. I think it is definitely really weird.
I think depicting real people in a fictional setting is always like a weird way to do things, and I think it's best to, like, if you know that there are still people being affected because of this real person, you should consult those people before.
That's true. That's also why I feel a little less bad about that one.
Yeah.
And same with the Axeman that he did. Also, that was really never solved. So I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah, but it's like in that case, it's so far long ago. It's like making up stories about Jack the Ripper, where it's like the effects of that are kind of hard to even
pinpoint.
Yeah, especially these days. So I think that is more acceptable, but like Richard Ramirez,
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really appalled that it's not industry standard to like give the families profits, let them know even before it's coming out. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's maybe it's just me, but I think it's kind of crazy that, you know, victims of serial killers aren't notified when, you know, glorification of serial killers is happening.
Definitely.
Just me though.
Yeah, we're just weird.
Yeah, maybe
like
we're just weird like that.
I do think this is the best season because I think Ryan is at his best when he's kind of not really imitating something, but he has like a basis to work around, and it's not like a completely original concept for him. So with Camp Redwood, it's like this campy classic horror. It's a campy classic horror like at a summer camp, which has been done so many times, which I think just works so much better for him because he's kind of mocking it in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I think he works best when he's twisting someone else's original idea into something new and fresh. I feel like...
Yeah, that goes the same with all his shows, basically, because his other shows are mostly telling true stuff. So you can kind of see the genesis of where he like started to want to do that. His other shows, like the crime shows. And it just... I don't know. It's not really ethical, but I think he works better, and the seasons are always better when he does that.
Yeah, and I also think that's not to say that he doesn't have original ideas, because like he does come up with a lot of creative things to throw at you know, his projects. But I think it's more figuring out the vibe and the setting is just a difficult thing to do in any, you know, way. And so having a basis to work off makes things, you know, actually like doable in like the quantity that he's done, because he's made a ton of stuff.
He has a lot of stuff, and I think some of his better stuff is like, I really like Glee. Obviously that's a completely original thing. He didn't really get that from anywhere. I mean, it's a high school show, but it's like about a singing club, which hadn't really been done before. I think Scream Queens is good. It's also pretty campy. It's funny. I don't know, I think he can definitely do both, but I think like they get more critically acclaimed when he does something that's kind of been done before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when he puts like a new
spin
lens on something. Yeah.
He does a lot of derivative stuff that's been done before, like we said, but his more creative concepts fail because he doesn't really have a good grasp on how to execute certain stuff, like his time skips, and the endings of all his seasons are kind of shaky.
Yeah, he has such gripping things happening throughout the whole season, but somehow in the last episode of so many projects, he's just like, what if I take every single interesting idea I had and then just kind of like toss it out the window?
We loved Red Tide specifically, and the ending of that one was an abomination to
So
humanity.
bad.
That was one of the worst endings of anything I've ever
I
seen.
could not believe it.
And
like I was
it
so
wasn't even a
angry.
long series either, so I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to come up with something interesting. It was literally half a season.
And then with this season, about its ending, it has this great build of tension where, it has this nice build of tension up to the midpoint of the series, and then, it kind of releases that and does like a new setup based on everything that happens, and it builds this tension up to this big climactic event of everyone at the camp, everyone's fighting, everyone's confronting each other, and everyone's like kind of settling their beef. And then instead of like actually showing that, time skip forward, Mr. Jingle's son is here, and then everyone just tells him about what happened. And it's like, you just killed all of the dramatic tension that you had to like kind of show this new character that like I don't care about really.
Definitely. And then he also had, what's the guy's name from season 1? Ben from season 1.
Oh,
as
yeah.
that random character. Like, what?
Just a
what's the
random serial
purpose,
killer.
babe?
Like, why? Why are you here? Like, you didn't do anything. You just kind of showed up, tried to kill someone, failed, and then got killed yourself. Like, you did not need to be here.
Yeah. Is it always a time skip? Is it always a time skip?
I feel like it is, because Asylum had a time skip right at the end, I'm pretty sure.
Season 1 had a time skip to show that, like, they killed themselves, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know how Hotel ended. I can't remember that at all. But Red Tide also had the time skip into the future, and then
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does it with almost every season.
yeah, and he needs
it never
to stop
goes well.
because it never goes well. It's
and even the critics think so. Like, if you look at any of the ratings on his episodes, the last one, it always has the worst ratings.
Yes, because he's
it's
just
trash.
like, what if we look at all this stuff, but we're in the future now? Like, I was in it. I was in the moment. I don't want to look at it as if it already happened.
Yeah, definitely.
I felt the tension rising. Come on, Ryan. So now it's time to move into the tier list section of this episode. Who do we have up here, Naomi? Just run us through the characters.
Definitely. So first of all, we have Brooke. Then we have
Nurse Rita. I forgot her real name.
I
Miss
don't
Candy.
know either. We
Miss
just call her
Angelica
Miss Candy
Ross.
because we love her as Candy.
Oh yeah, we didn't even explain that.
It's okay, because we're gonna do another full episode about a lot of the Ryan Murphy verse shows, because we have a lot to say.
We do have quite a bit to say.
We love Pose, and we did not mention that yet, but we do love Pose. We love Candy and Pose. Then we have Chet, then Mr. Jingles, then we have
Miss Margaret Booth, then Billy Lord as Montana, and then we have Ray. Is that Richard Ramirez?
That is Richard Ramirez. And then we have, what's his name in the show?
Is that Gus?
No. Gus.
Matthew Morrison. It's fine.
Yeah, Matthew Morrison. Don't know his name in the show, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then Xavier.
So for Brooke, what's your thoughts?
I think she was really annoying in the first half of the season. I didn't really like her. But then she came back in the second half of the season, and she had some looks. She was kind of serving a little bit.
I think she was only slightly annoying at the beginning, and she kind of just stayed slightly annoying the whole time for me.
Yeah, I don't think she's anything like...
I'm going to say B.
Yeah, I think B is a good place for her. She wasn't like on my nerves the entire time, but she wasn't like something special. Miss Angelica Ross, Miss Candy, Miss Nurse Rita.
I wish she had more screen time, honestly.
I think
she was on there
agree.
a lot, but for some reason she didn't feel like a main character, even though she was like gorgeous and like we were obsessed with her.
And like she drove the plot forward in a lot of instances.
She was the main force behind the scenes.
I feel like she just wasn't, she wasn't the driving force in the current action. She was the driving force in the setup.
Yes. So I'm thinking A for her. Unfortunately,
yeah, I'm thinking A.
I wish I could put her in S all day.
I wish I could put her in S, but I don't think she got enough.
Chet, I'm sorry, I'm putting him in S. I don't care.
Why are you putting him in S?
He's my favorite. I love Himbos so much.
I agree. I really like Himbos. I think he's funny. I think him being mad about not being at the Olympics is funny.
And he's literally an Olympian in real life.
Yeah. I don't know about S for me.
Well, I'm going to put him there. And I don't want to hear any backlash.
Okay, well, I don't have...
Anyone in the comments, no backlash from you either.
I don't have my hands on the mic, so I can't, or on the mouse, so I can't.
Mr. Jingles, I'm putting in D. I'm sorry, but he's so annoying.
Yeah, I don't like him. He's just like,
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care that much about him. I think that's it.
Yeah. I'm glad Ryan made a fictional serial killer. One of them, at least.
Yeah, but I don't really care.
He's just not that great.
When he's like, oh, I must save my son. Like, I don't care. I don't know your son. Your son can die.
Your son is hot, though. Your son is Finn Whitrock.
Your son is Finn Whitrock, and he will be hot in the future. In this season, they gave him a weird haircut.
No, I think he's still cute.
I think he's cute. He's just not hot.
Okay.
In Red Tide, though, he is hot.
Margaret Booth, I have such conflicting feelings. Like, she slayed a little bit because she did her act so well, right? I don't know if I can like her or not.
What do you mean? I don't know if I can like her.
What do you mean?
Like, why can't you like her?
I like that she manipulated and extorted Matthew Morrison, but I don't know if that's enough to propel her to the top for me. I don't think she's A or S worthy. I like her in certain parts, and she annoys me so bad in others.
Yeah, I think just B. I don't really have that much opinions on her. I don't really like her, but nothing really got on my nerves too much about her. I think in the first act of the season, where she was like, "Oh, I'm a Christian. You guys cannot sleep together. You guys are boys and girls separate," and like that was funny. That was a fun little bit.
Yeah, she definitely adds some good comic relief.
Next up, Billie Lourd
as Montana.
And she slayed.
I'm going to say A because she got really annoying to me once she died.
I agree. She did get kind of annoying once she died.
I don't see the hype of her over Chet and Xavier. Like, what is that about?
Once all like the mystery of her character was gone, and once she was like kind of manipulating people, once she wasn't manipulating people, she was like, oh, so you're here.
You're not as much of a baddie as you let on.
You're here to cry over Matthew Morrison now. Like, okay.
So maybe even B. Do you agree with that? I think she's on the same level as Brooke.
I think she's above for me. She's above Brooke for me.
I'm okay with that, but I honestly think she's B.
Okay.
Ray, I'm going to say C because I did like him. But like I said, he seemed like way too much of a side character to be a part of the main cast.
Yeah, he always felt like he felt like he's the friend who like was behind everyone else when they were walking down the street.
Yes, very much so. Even though he was the frat boy, he was supposed to be like a popular type.
He's supposed to be a popular type, but
I just think he wasn't very well written for this season.
He just did not know how to stand next to the other people.
Yeah, maybe speak up for yourself, Ray. They gave him a little love story with Brooke, but I was just like, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't care that much.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be about how like Brooke's opening up to other people after her, traumatic marriage, whatever, but like I don't care. I'm not that invested in Brooke. And if Ray, his only characterization is through Brooke, like I care even less.
That's true. That was probably the only reason he was there.
Yeah, because he got killed like right after they started having romantic tension, and then right after they had more romantic tension, it was revealed that he was a ghost.
Yeah. So Ray, you deserved better, but I'm sorry you didn't do it for me.
Yeah, C is where you belong.
I feel like Tyra Banks right now. I'm so disappointed in you.
At the bottom of the totem this week, I don't know
totem.
What's it called? The pyramid?
No, that's Abby Lee. We're Abby Lee too. We're both.
Yeah.
You're Abby Lee. I'm Tyra Banks.
Yeah, and you, Tyra Banks, bottom of the pyramid.
Okay, Richard Ramirez, D.
Yeah, Richard also at the bottom of the pyramid.
We already talked a lot of crap about Richard, so you already know how we feel about the guy. Matthew Morrison, I have to put him in B or A.
I think A.
You do? I'm so glad because I wanted to put him there really
because like I think he's a really funny. It's funny that he's there. I like
him better than Billy because Billy gets annoying, but he's the same the whole way through. He's loyal to Billy. He's not annoying in any way.
I think then just put him one above
S?
Billy. No, not in S.
Oh, okay.
Just
I got
one
you.
above Billy. Right there. Yeah.
I think that's a good order already. And then Xavier.
S. Obviously.
There's.
The two hot boys up there, they belong.
They do. They're both iconic.
And they're both hot in different ways. Like, one's an absolute himbo, and the other is just like a baddie.
A baddie, period.
So that's our final tier list. If you have any comments about it, keep it to yourself because I don't care.
No, comment it for engagement.
Yeah, hey guys, go to smash like, smash subscribe, smash comment.
It's the notifications.
If
put
you're
your
watching,
notifications.
if you're watching right now, comment W, comment W, comment movie W, comment AHSW, comment Ryan W, comment Xavier W, comment.
Last night was a movie podcast.
Yeah,
W.
comment.
So thank you guys for watching this week. We really appreciate it. And like we said, hit the subscribe button and put on post notifications.
Hit the subscribe, smash that subscribe button, or else tomorrow night, I'm going to smash your mom.
Oh my God. Okay, yep. That's going to end it. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.
See you next week.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.
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 Bye.